Welcome to Room 101 at Harrigan Compound West. It's story time. It's Squadron leader tonight. Seems to be about right for this time of year. When it starts getting warm outside, I back off of the Balkan blends a bit, and I'm typically looking for something a little lighter. And a little lighter in this universe is Squadron leader. It's probably the quintessential English mixture, the one thing that all other Englishes have to be defined in its terms, and it's really good. It's light, it's airy, it's got just enough Latakia to keep it interesting, but it's not a forward Latakia, right? You can catch the Orientals and the Virginias in this pretty clearly as you work your way through the bowl, and I recommend it to everyone who might be inclined to look for something perfectly English. Here it is. So it seems like we've been holed up in our houses for quite a bit of time. I don't think I've gone anywhere meaningful for a year and a half, and probably almost everybody else is going to say the same thing. And it's the case that before the world got sick of a virus of unknown origin, we used to do things, and I was one of those people who used to do things. And I used to do things mostly with this guy here in the picture. That's my friend Antony Davies, economist extraordinaire, and we have a podcast together, which you might not be aware of. By all means, I'll put the link in the notes below, and you could have a look if you want. We also wrote a book together. But the thing that we did together most often was that we would go from school to school to school, both high schools and colleges, offering lectures across the country. And it was actually a lot of fun when we got to do it. And I want to remember a time that we spent in Philadelphia, and that left us with a healthy ride home. And you can see how long it would take to get us from Philadelphia to the other side of Pennsylvania, a little over 5 hours. The common joke is that you go from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh and you pass over, 300 miles of Alabama in between. But I always liked the interior of the state of Pennsylvania, and kind of like driving through it from time to time. And it was exciting here because not only were we driving home after a long couple of days out on the road, we were driving right past Clem's Barbecue, which is the absolute best barbecue in the state of Pennsylvania. Clem would do the cooking for you all by himself. He looks curiously like Tim McGraw, but I assure you it's not Tim McGraw. It's just Clem. And this man made the best barbecue I had eaten in a number of years. But back to the ride, because it was a long one. And, Ant and I are both introverts, so we get in these cars and we drive around and we don't say too much to each other. This is what we were driving, Ant's beloved FJ Cruiser. Just a little while later, it would lose a contest with a deer, and then it just disappeared. But as we drove across country, he wanted to talk about Sherlock, the TV show, which I guess is quite a lot better than what he usually wants to talk to, which is Star Trek. So Sherlock it was, and he landed on this element of the story, which is prevalent in the current iteration with Benedict Cumberbatch. What we learn is that Sherlock has a tobacco habit because he wants the nicotine so he can think more clearly. And Antony got it in his head that maybe if he had nicotine, it would make him think more clearly too. So he asked me to give him one of my nicotine lozenges. I was eating these things like candies most days back then. I would probably go through 30, 40, even 50 a day. So I always had quite a few of them with me, and I gave Ant one, and he popped it in his mouth and kept right on driving until we got to Clem's. And when we got there, okay, we got out, we went inside, and we ordered from the big board, and Antony, who I'm used to seeing somewhat like this, is what he looks like. He used to look like this, which I think is way, way funnier. It was back in his fifth Beatle days. But he had come to look like this, and it was really the case that Antony managed to take a nicotine lozenge, put it in his mouth, and got sick from what was undoubtedly nicotine poisoning from one single lozenge. He rolled down the window, stuck his head out like a dog, trying to make himself feel better. I don't think it worked. And he started curling up in the passenger seat like a ball. And it just kept getting worse and worse as we drove. By the time we got close to my house was first, this was about 5 miles past. I started making the turn to go to my house, and he demanded I take him to his first because he couldn't stand staying in the car another minute. He surely couldn't see how he might pilot said car in his present condition. So what's the takeaway here? And the takeaway, I think, is that a smart man, and Antony is a smart man, he was trying to be smarter, didn't quite work out. A smart man knows his limitations, which is why you'll never see me dance, you'll never see me try to do math, and you'll never see me fly fishing, right? These things are out of character, I can't do them. Ant should probably come to terms with this and understand that he should leave tobacco in all of its forms, nicotine and tobacco, to people with more robust natures. And I'm thinking those children, those teenage girls, and the old ladies who seem to be able to smoke things without ever missing a beat in their regular lives. Now, for his part, Ant told me that when he got home, he went straight to bed and didn't wake up for 25 more hours, which I find to be ridiculous, but probably the truth. I don't know that Ant's able to lie all that much without being caught red-handed. He doesn't have what we would call a poker face. So there it is. I guess you learn your lesson not to do things that hurt you, and having put his hand on that hot stove once, he's been loath to put that hand on the hot stove again. But of course, when I offer him cigars and pipes or even in more nicotine tablets, he's programmed now to just say no. So there it is. I get no company when I involve myself in the consumption of tobacco products. But I guess that's probably for the best anyway, because all the best things are done alone as it stands. So that's all I've got for you this week. We're going to put the link to the podcast down in the notes too. You can go check it out if you like. If not, I'll catch you next week with another story, but not another one about Antony. We'll have to figure something else out. By the way, I smoked today Squadron Leader out of yet another Boswell pipe. This one may be the best pipe I've ever smoked. It's just that wonderful. So hopefully we can get more of the Boswells into the collection, but they're a little hard to find, and he only sells a few a week. So until next time, take it easy.
H-A-R-R-I-G-A-N spells Harrigan. Proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. Dear well, a man can say
you know how it goes, right? I sit here smoking a pipe all the time, and I have just a few cigars, and we'll get you to see those sometime real soon. But you know, what is it about smoking that's so wonderful? And I don't rightly know the answer. I know a number of you are contacting me lately, telling me that you're going to start smoking pipes, and I can't emphasize enough what a great idea that is. Join me on the light side of things. You'll be glad you did. But I used to smoke cigarettes, and that's a vicious mistress. Boy, I smoked a lot of cigarettes, right? At the height of it, I smoked 5 packs a day. This was back in the good old days when you could smoke at work. And I remember walking into work one day with 5 packs of cigarettes and 2 matches, and I left with a match. So things clearly got out of hand, and quitting was a beast of a thing, just a beast of a thing. And it didn't really work until I got a hold of those nicotine lozenges that Antony damn near killed himself on. I was able to take those and get far enough away from cigarettes that I only became a nicotine addict instead of a cigarette addict. And then a couple of years later, I quit those too. So mission accomplished, but boy, was it a tough mission. And if you're out there smoking cigarettes, I wish you the best. It's tough, but you should quit. And you should maybe replace the cigarette habit with cigars or pipes. I'm not here to tell you that they're not dangerous, although I don't think they're terribly dangerous. I'm here to tell you that they're far less dangerous than smoking cigarettes and inhaling. So if you're looking for a crutch, there's 3. Pipes, cigars, lozenges. Go get one of them. Tell us how you do. Love to hear about how you quit cigarettes and maybe got in line with something a whole lot better.